Welcome back to The Right Stuff. As you can tell, we are aboard the boat today and going to be talking about power supply. You can use on a lot of sailboats, they have their own power supply. That's great, but a lot of times it's dependent on the motor outboard. If it has an alternator on it, which this one does, it can recharge the battery. But I do like to have an alternate kind of portable power supply. And so what I ended up grabbing was one of these Goal Zero Yeti 150s. They make a bunch of different sizes. I think they make a 250, 500 watt. I know, and they make bigger ones than that. But I was looking for something super portable. Some of the ones that are a lot bigger, obviously they're heavier. This is about as heavy as, like, I would say a lawnmower battery. So it's super portable. But let me just go through kind of my experience with this, which has been good, and how kind of I have it set up. I usually just leave it, to be honest, I usually just have it set right up here on kind of what they would call the kitchen countertop here. And then I can just plug everything into it. You can also, can be tucked back kind of a little bit out of the way. But that's kind of where I just usually leave it up here. And it has really good little kind of grippy feet on it. So as sailing, it doesn't really slide around or do anything too crazy. Anyways, as we're going to talk about this particular unit, again, it's got this handle, comes up, kind of makes it easy to carry around with. You have your regular 110 volt plug. You've got USB ports here that you can charge into. You have an input, which is, you can charge this in the wall if you want at your house, or again, like right now we're hooked up to shore power, so I could just plug it into any of the outlets and charge it. Or you can charge it with solar panels, and that's pretty much the main reason for having the Goal Zero. Is most people, I think, use it for solar panel usage. They also have the 12 volt inputs here. You just have to, the only thing that's a little bit different is once you've plugged it in, it doesn't automatically go. You have to kind of push this button up here, and then it will activate that particular outlet. And then you just push it again to turn it off. Same thing with USB, you turn it on. When you want to use those, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And as you'll notice, when you turn it on, this has the indication is right here of remaining power that you have left. And this one, so far I've charged, usually it's cell phones I've charged, Samsung tablet I'll charge with all, like, you know, I use the tablet for all my charts and stuff like that. If I'm flying, it's great too. For flight on there, all your charts are on there, so I will use this basically as a backup charger for that. I'll use it to charge Bluetooth speakers. You know, you can even charge. I've done like monitors. I've just plugged in like computer TV monitors into this, and it works absolutely great. And I do get a couple hours. I get like a couple hours out of it. But you may be thinking, how do you charge this, especially when you are on the water, at sea, whatever, or if you're camping, you're out and about, you don't have anything to hook it up to. That's where the solar panels come into play, and that's really the whole thing behind Goal Zero. Is obviously, if the name doesn't speak it enough, it's kind of like a zero impact, emissions, zero. I think that's what they're trying to get at. I don't know, but it sounds right to me. Zero waste, zero. Anyway, this is what I got with it. This is the Goal Zero Nomad 50. So it is their 50 watt solar panel. And let me just run down some of the specs just in case you're wondering. So how long will this basically take to charge this? This is the 150, right? Well, in the specs, it says the Goal Zero Yeti 200, it takes 5 to 10 hours. So this one would probably be maybe 3 to 7 hours maybe to charge this. And remember, you're dealing with solar. So with solar, you have to take into account the maximum amount of sun that this is going to be in contact with and be absorbing. So if there's clouds, that's going to affect it. If there's any type of trees that are covering it, any foliage, you know, stuff like that is all going to impact the amount of exposure this has to the sun. This weighs, how much does this weigh? This one here is a 50 watt. They sell all different sizes. This weighs basically 6.85 pounds, 3.1 kilograms for my kilogram people, my metrics. Let's see, and it's actually pretty big once you unfold it. So it's magnetized, so it keeps closed. So that's one kind of nifty feature about it. But as you get to open it up, you'll start to see that it is quite big, which is perfectly cool on a boat, because all I do is I just throw it above on top deck, and it's pretty much got full sun exposure. You know, if there's sails up, they might block the sun a little bit. But usually I try to keep it in a spot that's fairly unencumbered as far as sun reaching it. So you got some pretty big panels here. Again, they fold up. They have a stand on the back, which is kind of neat. You can just pop this out, and it's got this little tether on it. And they're on there's a couple of them on the back here and here. And obviously the whole point of that is if you're setting this up somewhere, you can use this as a stand to keep it angled basically towards the sun, so you can get the most amount of sun hitting your panels as possible. It can get a little unruly, but then again, it's 50 watts, so this is collecting a lot of sun. So you fold it up like so. Again, magnet catches it, keeps it all intact. You can unzip the back. They have a little mesh pouch here connected, and this is where you've got your cables. So I will show you. You've got your output. This is the chain in feature. You can actually buy a bunch of these and hook them up in a chain with each other and create like a cool little solar grid. And they've got a USB out port here. As far as the output, as I'll show you, this here, when you have your battery, your unit here, this is all, these guys did a really good job with all this stuff. Got these Velcro ties that keep all these cords in place, nice and organized. Like I said, everything zips, all these cords zip right away, so that's kind of neat. And this just plugs right into here where it says input, and you would just spread it out, and you can just leave this sitting right there on the countertop as I showed you before, and this cord just would run up to the top, and this would just get spread out on the top deck up here, and just charge it. You You do it as you're sailing. And this is heavy enough to where wind is not going to just push it off the top deck. You can actually, it's got all these little loops that you can use. You can tie it down. You can tether it to things. You can hang it up. I've even seen people open these up and put them on the back of their packs. So as they're hiking, they're recharging batteries, obviously much smaller ones than this. Yeah, you make sure it's connected to everything. So that's pretty nifty. That's good thinking right there. So again, just disconnect when you're fully charged. Take all your cords, put them away. Again, you're just looping everything right back up here. Like I said, since these are all Velcro, I don't know if they're exactly Velcro brand, but they're a type of Velcro. And you just basically can loop them all together here, zip them up. There you go. You are ready to go. I want to say the cost, was probably close to 300, maybe 400 bucks for both the unit and the panels. They are sold separately. There may be kits that you can buy that include multiple things, but these I bought separately. Interestingly enough, it was maybe a couple years ago, I got this one as a gift, which is basically the same thing, only in miniature form. Obviously, you're not going to get as much charge. It's not going to last as long, and it's a smaller panel, so it's going to take a lot longer to get that charge. But same concept. It's got the magnet in here, keeps it closed. Open it up. Again, this is perfect for a backpack. It's got these little loops on it, so you can basically hook it onto the back of your backpack as you're hiking, and you can charge your devices in it. I've used this, I can't even tell you how many times, at least 50 times, as far as charging my cell phone. That's mainly what I use this for. But this one's kind of cool. It does come with some tools, some different things. As I will open it up, it has, these I've never used, but they do give them to you. These little mini carabiner type things. They give you, this is basically your battery pack. Take all these accessories out. I'll show you one by one. So it's got the hookups. So it has, again, an input. It has a little tiny jack. I'm not sure of the actual size of that one. This one's saying it's a Guide 10. I don't know if that has something to do with a different piece of equipment. You can chain these together, chain input. Again, it's got the 12 volt, and it has the USB. It's got instructions. They each have instructions on the inside of these covers, so it just makes it easier for you. It's got the USB hookup. They include, this is basically a USB battery. They call it the Goal Zero Switch 10, so much smaller battery, but this is really for, simple things like they give you a rubber fan blade, which is pretty badass because they have a connector here, which you connect into there. I just left this on the top deck as I was working on the boat over the weekend, and it charged it up within a few hours. But it's a hot day. Got a little fan action, which doesn't sound that bad, like you wouldn't really need this little fan, but I'm telling you, it can get a little stuffy in this cabin when it's hot. And I ran into a couple storms, and I had to secure myself in, and it was pretty hot and humid in here as a storm was raging outside. And this little guy actually made it pretty comfortable in here. So they have that. The fan hookup. They also have a flashlight hookup. They have a little USB connector for, I'm not sure which type of little jack that is, but it's one that I don't use anymore. It was like maybe on like 3 or 4 cell phones ago I had that one. But if you have anything, maybe a older GoPro perhaps, I don't know, whatever you might use one of those little jacks for. But I will typically just plug in my either another battery pack into here, or I'll just hook my phone right up to it. It depends. I've got a bunch of little battery packs that I use that are kind of floating around that I just keep charged up just in case of emergencies. That is basically the Nomad. This was the Nomad 7, so that's what I got as a gift some time back. Not even 100% sure who gave it to me, but that is all that. And again, all the accessories just go right into falling apart over here. Just go into this little pouch in the back that's connected to it. You just zip it up, and again, you just throw it in the bag. But this one I just keep on the boat in the little shelf thing back here. I appreciate you joining me today. If you liked anything I said, give me a thumbs up. If you liked it a lot and you want to subscribe, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell thing that tells you some video. I don't even know if it works or not. I click the bell on a lot of things and I don't get notifications. But if you want to get notifications, hit the bell too. If you, like I said, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you hate it, give me a thumbs down. Go in the comment section, tell me why you hated it. Or if you have any questions about the gear itself, maybe you're thinking about grabbing some and you have questions, I'll go ahead and answer them the best that I can. Other than that, have a good day. We'll see you on the next one.